Today I'm trying out my new BBwear Deluxe B-Suit. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. 100 as soon as possible. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm doing a first impression of my new BBwear Deluxe B-Suit. It was supposed to be an unboxing, but as you can see, I've gotten a bit carried away and I'm already wearing it. So a few things to consider when getting yourself a B-Suit is there's just so many different B-Suits on the market. What I was advised from the sort of veteran beekeepers that I spoke to is get yourself a decent B-Suit. Now there are two main brands in the UK that I'd recommend. One is BJ Sheriff and one is BBwear. That's what all the professionals seem to wear. They love it. They're really well made. They're good quality. They're made in the UK and they just last forever. If you go for a more affordable suit, you know, that might be okay, but what you'll find is the quality just isn't there, especially when it comes to the material the veil's made out of, and it will disintegrate after a year, and what you'll end up doing is having to buy another B-Suit anyway. So do yourself a favor and get yourself a decent B-Suit to start with. So this is the BBwear Deluxe B-Suit. BBwear do 3 different B-Suits. So they do the BBwear Basic B-Suit, that starts at £190. They do the BBwear Deluxe, which is this one. This is £225. And then they do the BBwear Ultra Suit, which is £430. Now that is significant investment. I sadly don't have that much money to invest in a B-Suit, but this is a really well-made B-Suit. The only thing I would say is with the Basic and the Deluxe, the same material, you can still get stung through this. So for example, on my arm here, if the material's touching your skin, the bees can still get the sting through that and into your skin. The Ultra range is made out of a thicker, like 5 or 6 mil sort of mesh breathable material. And the idea behind that is it's thicker than the bee stinger, so you just can't get stung. So if you have any sort of allergies or reactions to bee stings that are really quite severe, then I would definitely recommend going for the Ultra. But for me, this fits me perfectly. It's really comfortable and I'm really happy with it. So a few things that this has over the Basic is it has some pockets in the top, which have the flap covers. It also has a couple of extra pockets on the trousers. It has the thumb loops and it has the zips on the legs, as well as the waterproof material on the sort of knee pads, on the knee area. Another thing to consider is, do you want the traditional hood or do you want the standard fencing style? I just don't get on with the fencing style hood for some reason. I just find it quite frustrating. What I find with the fencing style hood is that when I'm just standing up straight and talking to someone, it tends to like ride down into my line of sight, which I find really frustrating. Whereas with the traditional hood, it just fits me really perfectly. It is personal preference, so I would advise, if you can, go to your local stockist, just try on a few B-Suits and see what fits you and what sort of style you prefer. Now on sizing, again, it is quite difficult. I was actually in between sizes. So I went in, I tried on a large. I found it fit me perfectly in the arms and the legs, but in the chest to the crotch area, it was just a little bit too tight. I just wasn't quite comfortable. I tried the extra large on and it was just too big. So a service that BBwear do, which is fantastic, is they do a special cut service. So you can go on the website, you can type in your measurements, so your inseam, your chest width, your arm length, and they can make it to measure. So this is like essentially a tailor-made B-Suit, and it costs £35, which I think is pretty reasonable. On the cost of the B-Suit, you know, you want it to be comfortable, you want it to fit right. If you happen to fit perfectly into those large or extra large sizes, great. For me, didn't quite fit, but I'm happy that I can still get myself a nice B-Suit. So this B-Suit in total cost me £295, so it was expensive. Standard £225, then £35 extra for the traditional hood, and another £35 extra for the special cut. So that is, you know, a significant amount of money. You may be able to get some discount depending on your association, I know some associations will give discount on BB Wear apparel. Sadly, my local association doesn't, so I just had to pay full price. But I'm happy to get a decent suit. You know, we're planning to get to 100 hives on this channel, so I want to get a decent suit that's going to last me for years to come. And on that note, BB Wear, they do their repair service, so it's like a 5-year warranty. So if you have any stitching come unloose or any zips break within the first 5 years of use, you can send it back to BB Wear and they'll just repair it free of charge, which again is just good customer service. Also, you can give them a call, so they're really friendly to chat to. I spoke to James and he was really helpful on the phone, just, you know, about a few questions about sizing and that sort of thing. Really helpful. Like I say, they're all handmade in the UK. I believe this was made by Chris. If you look in the box that it comes with, it just says here, yeah, made by Chris. So Chris, thank you. You've done a really good job. I'm really pleased with it. Like I say, this is a first impressions video, so I'll do a bit more of an update in 2 or 3 months' time. And yeah, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.